All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Complexity's MVP Genius, the red Protoss at the top left, and we have TSL's Clide at the bottom at the 6 o'clock position. You know what I'm sad about, by the way?
Clyde.
No, I'm sad that Blizzard's nerfing my new car already.
Blizzard's nerfing in your car already?
Yeah.
Why's that?
Because I bought a Hellion, dude.
Oh. Weren't you the one that was advocating, was saying that there should be no Hellions without gas or something like that? So
there should be no Hellions without gas.
Yes, I know that's a common complaint, or at least it was actually something Destiny was actually saying a few months ago.
But you need gas.
Like,
you get a factory.
When he was like, no. His point was that you can create Hellions after the fact with just minerals once the factory is already up, and you don't need gas to ignite a flame.
I think Blizzard was trying to
joke.
I think Blizzard was trying to emulate the Vulture, which didn't require gas either. So
right.
That may be why, but I don't know.
So here we are. Clide is our blue Terran, and Genius is our red Protoss, and should be a very, very good set. Looking forward to what both these players are going to bring out here. We, of course, are close positions by air on Metalopolis. No pesky Zergs here this time for map imbalances, so we are going to have a nice TVP matchup.
It's going to be a nice CVP matchup for sure. Both players did spawn right next to each other in the air,
yeah.
So I hope we see some War Prism tactics coming out of the Protoss player. It's always fun to watch. And as far as Clide goes, we'll see what he opts to go for. Could be a quick Starport, could be a quick Banshee, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I would expect nothing less than some sort of a gateway expand out of Genius. And for Clide, one Rax Reaper FE certainly works as viable, but we're going to see some sort of a 1 Rax or a 2 Rax expand possibly behind Concussive Shell and maybe a little bit of aggressive pressure just to try and get up the ramp or punish an early expand out of Genius. But, yep. Everything looking pretty standard at the moment. We're going to see Cybernetics Core here in just a second. And the real telltale sign is going to be how quick does Genius throw down that second gas.
Yeah, that's going to be the sign to look for. We have Clide here. Oh, man. You didn't just let one rip.
I may have. I was trying to pass it off.
Disgusting.
I win at life.
You did not.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Oh,
I can't hold it. That's Curry coming out and getting you.
I gotta go. I gotta go. Oh my god. No, you didn't.
Oh, it was a little one, man. You just wait until the big ones start coming out. So.
Deadly.
Oh, you wait till the big ones. He's about to cry. I'm just letting you guys know. Anyway, so you enjoy that curry the second time around, sir. Looks like it's actually going to be... This is kind of an interesting play out of Clide. He shows gas and then ends up going into a gasless FE. On the other hand, Genius did add that second early gas, and he is actually putting up a stalker after that. Chrono boosting them out, as a matter of fact. You back? You there? Is it work?
All right. What are we talking about here?
We're not talking about...
God. you know, like, for the first few minutes of the game, I couldn't say anything because I didn't know if it was appropriate, but then it just got to the point where it smelled like chemical waste.
Dude, it smelled like curry the second time around. Like, that's the best possible example you could give, and that's precisely what it is.
No.
Anyway, SCV buried here in the top left-hand corner. That's kind of interesting. See if we get any sort of proxy tech, or if that's just going to be used for a delayed tech. 3 racks coming out, though, after the 1 racks expands. Add-ons already being put down, so...
Well,
you there?
Looks like you got Blue Flame upgraded there, buddy.
Blue Flame? That was the Green Flame upgrade.
Cat's Pajamas farts needs the definitely needs the gas.
Oh yes. Can't power me without gas.
All right, tell me what's going on here, man. I have completely tuned out for the last 5 minutes.
Clide went 1 racks FE, actually showed gas and then pulled everything off of gas and went 1 racks gasless FE into a 3 racks build. He's just going to use this for mules here for a little while. Genius, on the other hand, looks like he went 1 gate robo, putting down a second gate and going to use that to expand behind.
All right, cool.
There you go.
So, Clide is going to go for what you told me that he's going to go for, and looks like MVP Genius is going to go for the Nexus. I don't know, man. It looks like a pretty standard game from here. Looks like a bio ball coming out of Clide, and Genius is going to play a very standard Nexus game. So I think it's going to be a macro game here.
Yeah, certainly. But there is going to be the opportunity to make a pretty big timing push here out of Clide.
You know, you totally messed up my vibe now, right?
He does. No,
I can't even get into
get back
caster
into
mode.
it. Come on. Professionalism. Professionalism. It's all right. I'm going to test you again later. All right. That's how I'm going to pass this
All
off
right.
now. I'm going to claim it's a test. So here we go. There is Stimpack researching, but that's not going to be done before this push is able to make its way across the map. Genius just going to have to back up under the sheer number of forces that are making their way out, and looks like Clide was just posturing for a little bit. He is going to go ahead and pull back, though, with the rest of his bioforces.
All right, so yeah, MVP Genius is doing a little bit of poke here or there. He's just waiting to get that Nexus going down right now, and he has an observer coming out of his robotics facility. So we're going to get that quick obs out. You know what, I'm surprised? We didn't see any Starport or Warp Prism or Stargate action from either of these players, despite them spawning right next to each other.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people will go ahead and overemphasize the close positions by air or something like that. Yes, it does mean that an air unit has pretty good opportunity to make it over there, but you've got to realize that that is also a very significant tech investment, and if you want to decide to go into any sort of air forces or something like that, be it through a Stargate or a Starport, you're significantly cutting away from that eventual mid-game or end-game decent-sized ball that you're actually going to have and produce. Nonetheless, Observer making its way out now for Genius, and he's going to make his way down and sees the entire army making its way across. Clyde decides to go ahead and turn around.
All right, so here comes Clyde. Yeah, he's pushing. Oh no, he's just falling back right now. You know, I think we're just gonna see both players macro into a very late game here. Again, go into Colossus mode, go into the Mass Viking, Mass Bioball mode, and it's going to be a big battle because, you know what, since this approaches the mid-game already, they're probably just going to start taking expansions around the outside of the map, and it's going to come down to a point where it could be a 30-minute plus TVP.
Oh yeah, certainly. Factory going to float out now and see exactly everything that Genius has up, and it's actually going to come at a pretty critical time. He's going to see all 6 gateways up, and he's going to be able to make his way over here and see the Twilight Council is researching, and due to the amount of zealots he'll see, he'll immediately suspect Charge Lot Archon. Now, Genius has a little bit of versatility in his build. He has a robotics facility down, so all he needs to add is the Bay to be able to get Colossi out, so he can transition off of the Charge Lot Archon build, but that's certainly going to be pretty good in Clyde's favor. He's going to be able to make a pretty big push knowing what his opponent is going for.
All right, well, here comes Clyde. He's pushing out with the M&M over to the front door of the Protoss player Genius. Genius doesn't really have much right now, but he's about to get charged. So as soon as charge comes, that's probably going to stop the push right in its tracks. And Clyde realizing that, maybe backing up a little bit, preparing possibly for a drop right into Genius's main. And he's going to go ahead and drop off right in the edge with 2 dropships, leaving the rest of his forces at the front door. And it looks like it's going to force Clyde to only split half of his army back. So really good control right here from Genius, excuse me. Able to take out that drop in at the front door. Also able to handle this quite easily. I think that Genius is looking really good.
Yeah, he handled that pretty well. Looks like all these units are just going to run away now. There it goes. The Medevac's making their way back. No, looks like they're going to push for round number 2 here in a second, but that's not going to be possible. There are already Zealots in position, and Clyde drops down all of his forces. Nonetheless, don't know if he was paying attention to something else, and unfortunately loses the vast majority of his units. It looks like maybe he was going to swing in with another attack here at the top left-hand side, but that is going to have to be stopped. Clyde, though, to his credit, does have a second expansion down, a 3rd base altogether, so his economy is still going to be quite good, and as long as he pins Genius to this 2 bases for a little while, he's going to be able to out-macro his opponent.
Yeah, he's going to try to keep Genius to those 2 bases for quite some time. I love the factory flooding in here. Doesn't really need it right now, since he's going such mass bio. He's getting the armory only for the upgrades. He's getting the Ghost Academy down as well, so just going to play a straight-up pure M&M ball. We're going to, like I called it, we're going to see a very late Terran versus Protoss here, and we have now the Protoss player Genius going into Colossus mode, and that was scouted by the factory, I believe.
Let's go ahead and take a look at his vision.
Does he see the robotic support bay? No, he
not
doesn't.
yet.
Actually, this is actually a little weird because I'm pretty sure that Clyde did see the Twilight Council. So right now Clyde might be assuming, it's going to be, you know, Charizard Archon or some combination thereof, but not really expecting Colossus. And that's why Clyde hasn't produced any Vikings yet. That could be a problem when the Terrans and Protoss collide.
And here we go. Charizard's going to be able to clean up this force in the top left-hand corner. If we see a quick reaction, yeah, that army's actually pulled way out of position. There are some units that are down here at the bottom left, but there are enough forces being brought across by Clyde that he should be able to inflict significant damage even with a couple of warpins. However, a Colossus popping up changes a lot of things, but it's rallied away. So these Medevacs are going to be able to land and do a significant amount of damage. Here come all the forces out of Clyde. And one pylon goes down, Chargelot's being brought in and do some damage as well. Stim goes down, Guardian Shield goes down, and the Zealots can take a lot of damage, but there's still just too much here for Clyde, and he is going to bust through all those forces.
Don't quite agree with double Guardian Shield. They really should have force fielded the Marines and Marauders into the corner and kept them contained. And waited for the bought at least a little bit of time for Genius's reinforcements to arrive, but it looks like Genius able to fend that off, didn't lose too much. And now Clide just expanding at will. Look at this, grabbing a 4th expansion over to the right side. And he is now getting Vikings. So what that drop did accomplish, it revealed the Colossus. And that's pretty huge because now Clide is going to be able to transition into mass Vikings. He is producing 2 at a time. But now Genius is switching up his tech into Templar. He's getting Storm. And he just warped in for Templar as well.
Yeah, but he's going to continue with that Colossi production for a while because if he's able to neutralize the Viking numbers, he's still going to be in a pretty good spot. But Clide taking a pretty aggressive 4th base, as you mentioned before, as we were showing on screen. And if that goes unscouted for about 3 or 4 minutes, Clide is actually going to have a ridiculous macro and be able to take advantage of that production. He's still only on 5 racks for the time being, but he's, oh, I'm sorry, 7. No, he did just add 2 down at the bottom right. I apologize. That is my mistake. So his production is actually going to be pretty beastly, even throwing in a good number of ghosts in the composition.
Is that Observer movement upgrade or Warp Prism movement upgrade that's going up on the production?
Oh, I always have to look at the robotics bay. Where is it? There it is, and it is Warp Prism.
Okay, so Warp Prism upgrade coming in right now, and a Warp Prism just down warping as well. So good timing right here from Genius, getting that Warp Prism out as soon as the upgrade will finish. And we'll see if he's going to try to do some drop action. However, speaking of drop action, we once again have that quad dropship going right into Genius's main, and with the Zealots coming in there, though, deflected once again. Those dropships, you know, time and time again, they've come in. The really only benefit that they've had so far is revealing the Colossus. I haven't really seen them do enough damage.
Their secondary function though was actually pretty good. That was to pin Genius, his forces down, and make it a little bit more risky to expand, because he just has wanted to establish his 4th expansion. When I say he, I mean Clide, for quite a while. And oh, he drops in a few more forces, but there was a couple of Templar there. Feedbacks went down on the medevacs. That was actually a ton of units lost for Clide, so very, very nice play. At the same time, he's getting his forces cleaned up in the top right-hand corner, so all of a sudden, Clide was way ahead before, now finding himself, maybe not behind because he has the 4th base, but certainly in a much worse position than he was before.
Yeah, he's definitely pinned up against the wall right now, or at least a little bit worse, like you said before. And we do have that Warp Prism. Good lord, look how fast that thing is once it gets its speed upgrade. What? That thing is as fast as a Phoenix, I'd have to say. And it's flying right in. It could deposit these Templars right away, and no reaction here from Clide. Clide could lose quite a bit of SCVs. A Storm goes in, going down, double Storm, doing some pretty good damage right there, and at least stopping a lot of mining from those SCVs as well.
And here we go. Looks
Dude,
like
that Warp Prism is so fast.
It is pretty fast with that upgrade.
What?
That is pretty ridiculous. A lot of upgrades coming out of Clide, though, so he's certainly not out of this. With the benefit of that 4th base, now 5th base actually being added in, he is still in a really, really good economic position. Genius, on the other end, though, is going to his gold, and if he's able to lock that down with a very strong Protoss Death Ball, then I think he could actually start to pull out a little bit of an advantage here. Clyde actually, he stims himself up, but he right-clicked his way in at first. And that's actually going to mean most of those monsters go down without doing any damage.
Wow, those Marauders were so weak. They just went down instantly, like you said. But it looks like our prediction was correct, Cats. We are going to have a very long game here in terms and the Protoss. Oh! The Warp Prism gets picked off. I think 4 Templars went down as well. That's a huge loss. And Genius taking a big hit right there to his harassing tools. He is rebuilding Templar and another Warp Prism, but as I said before, this game is definitely boiling down to a big one, and we're just going to see a big ball versus that Colossus Death Ball, and it's going to come down to the micro of the Templars and the Ghosts.
Yep, certainly. There are quite a few Ghosts out as well, so that's actually going to be a wall of EMPs that go down. Not that many Templar. 4 of the Templar that were on the field just went down in that Warp Prism, so there's only 3 remaining, and here we go. The engagement is going to happen. Stim comes up, and God, the EMPs were so good, but 2 of the Templars still have Storms remaining. It doesn't matter, though. He's going to have to back away. Oh, my God. Genius just had his force obliterated.
Genius just completely getting EMP to death, and Clide here, his entire Bioball still healthy, is going to run in here, and I think this could be a game. I don't see Genius going to be able to macro his way out of this. He needs to make a bunch of Templar right now and catch a couple of key Storms off, but it doesn't really matter. Look at this, the army getting EMP'd once again, the Colossus getting chased down by the Vikings, and I think we're moments away from a GG. Genius just getting completely stomped. And a lot of that going back to losing that Warp Prism with those 4 Templar. Those 4 Templar would have been helpful in that last battle.
Help! Yes, it would have been, actually. Clyde! And there's a GG out of Genius. Genius leaves the game. Clyde takes game number 1. So we're going to head into game number 2 in just a second.